Tons of exciting Star Wars news this week, including the possibility of pre-sale tickets going on sale soon. This is what happened in Star Wars news this week. I'm going to be going over movie news, comic news, shows, etc. In Star Wars The Force Awakens movie news, there have been quite a few rumors that a trailer is going to drop this Monday, and after the trailer, pre-sale tickets will become available. This is just a rumor right now, so it may or may not be true, but if it is true and we're getting a Star Wars Force Awakens trailer on Monday along with pre-sale tickets, Monday is going to be super exciting. So keep a lookout for that and hope that these rumors are true. In other news, J.J. Abrams has confirmed that The Force Awakens has not been Disney-fied. So if you were really looking forward to that protagonist song and dance number, sorry, you're out of luck. J.J. has also confirmed that Disney has kind of stepped to the side and not interfered whatsoever with his vision for the franchise, and he has the final cut in his hands. In a similar vein, the CEO of the Walt Disney Company has confirmed that we will not be seeing the Disney logo in front of The Force Awakens. This was in response to some of the concerns that it would be a bit weird to see Cinderella's castle before the title, especially replacing the 20th Century Fox logo and fanfare. Some fans suggested doing an altered Disney logo, such as the Death Star. It has been floating around for quite a few years. But for fans that were worried about it, you won't be seeing the Disney logo in front of the movie. I wasn't really worried about it, but it's kind of interesting that he reached out and put that out there for the fans. And he did confirm that why they did it was for the fans. Also, we got confirmation this week of the final runtime for The Force Awakens, which is going to be 136 minutes. Other random Star Wars news, Mark Hamill recently corrected fans that think he flubbed a line from A New Hope. When he is greeted by his friends after destroying the Death Star, fans thought he yelled Carrie when embracing Carrie Fisher, rather than calling her Leia. Mark Hamill said that that is false, and he began the sentence, "There she," as in, there she is. On to shows, Star Wars Rebels. In Star Wars Rebels this week, a show that takes place 5 years before A New Hope, our fearless bunch search for new allies in hopes of acquiring a new tactical advantage against the Empire. In the episode, The Lost Commanders. In a remote system, they discover 3 clones from the Clone War, Captain Rex, Wolf, and Gregor. This means we got Baker back to voice the clones. Though a bit of mistrust and betrayal does happen, the clones are willing to help our rebels in their fight. Good episode. It's going to take me a while to get used to their new intro. It doesn't have the same oomph the season 1 intro had, and it's going to take me a while to get used to Sabine's new hair color. By far, one of the funniest moments is Kanan looking directly into his lightsaber where it comes out, which was hysterical. I also like this episode because I like any time we delve into what happened to the clones post the Clone War. We know that some were just discarded by the Empire and others joined the academies and became instructors teaching new troopers. In Season 2, we can look forward to backstories for our characters and figuring out what they were doing before and what drove them to join the rebellion. However, the executive producer of the show did say that Chopper is one of the only ones that isn't going to have an arc. He says that he started as a jerk and he's still a jerk. In the comics, starting with Chewbacca, a new comic series titled Chewbacca started this week. Like most of the new Star Wars comics, this takes place after A New Hope and the destruction of the first Death Star. In issue number 1, Chewie is on an important and personal secret mission in a loner spacecraft that is a hunk of junk. One of my favorite scenes in this issue is Chewie being approached and them deciding better of it. Like, yeah, you wanna know what? We're gonna leave the Wookiee alone. It's a setup issue, but there were still some powerful moments in this comic, such as when Chewbacca's asked, "Do you know what that means? To be a slave?" And the fury and anger in his eyes, you can tell that he knows and he remembers the plight of his people. So far, this comic hasn't added anything real substantial to the canon besides what we already know with the Empire making deals on planets to get resources, but I'm more than sure it's going to add something to the canon that we can all enjoy. If you're looking for more information about what happened between A New Hope and The Empire Strikes, this might be the comic for you, or if you just love Chewie, As well, I recommend checking out Darth Vader, which also takes place during this time, and Kanan, which actually takes place before A New Hope, but is still a great series. Next, Shattered Empire. This comic series takes place at the very end of the Battle of Endor. This is part of the releases stamped with Journey to the Force Awakens, material to help us figure out what happened between The Return of the Jedi and the new movie coming out this December. And it makes it clear that after The Return of the Jedi, the war wasn't over. The Imperials apparently didn't get the message they lost. Issue 3 of the series was released this week. We see more of Plan Cinder the Imperials are carrying out, which is absolutely terrifying, the lengths Palpatine was willing to go to keep his secrets, well, secret. One of the best parts was Leia and her Force intuition, even if she isn't sure what it means yet. Changes to canon, the series is adding more information to the war that was still waged after the Death Star 2 was destroyed and the Emperor killed. This is filling in a lot of blanks and really worth it. If you're on the edge whether to read this miniseries, it also has some great moments, such as Han and Lando talking about his ship and telling Chewie not to talk with his mouth full. Those moments alone are worth it to me, but also the fact that we're getting more information about what happened after The Return of the Jedi and before The Force Awakens. Also, this series features the parents of one of the main characters in The Force Awakens. Unfortunately, there's only one issue left. Finally, in comics, a new Star Wars series has been announced that's going to be released in January 2016, and it's going to feature Anakin and Obi-Wan. This is from the same writer that worked on the Lando comic series. This will be a mini-series that looks at their relationship during the time between The Phantom Menace and The Revenge of the Sith. The comic is narrowing into the time when Anakin was around 12 or 13 years old. He has been training in the Jedi Temple and has his lightsaber. The comic plans on exploring their relationship through what, as they describe, extraordinary circumstances. If you want filler on how Obi-Wan and Anakin became like brothers before his betrayal, this might be a fun mini-series for you to read this January. If you're worried about reading about a whiny kid, the writer has assured us that the Anakin in this comics is a tough kid, so that should alleviate some of your concerns. As well, the writer has said that seeing how Obi-Wan approaches Anakin in his lessons is actually going to influence some of his decisions later on and will give us a better idea of how Anakin maybe came to some of the decisions he did later on in his fall to the dark side. I'm really excited. Come back Mondays and Fridays for new Star Wars videos as well as Star Wars news videos. Besides that, Sunday and Wednesday for Game of Thrones history, Thursday for comics, Walking Dead reviews, and Comics vs. Show.